saying this morning that we must feel that we count, that we belong, that we are persons, that we are children of the living God. And it means that we go down in our soul and find that somebody, and we must never again be ashamed of ourselves. We must never be ashamed of our heritage. We must not be ashamed of the color of our skin. Black is as beautiful as any color, and we must be. Person in this country must rise up and say, I'm somebody. I have a rich, proud, and noble history, however painful and exploited it has been. I am black, but I'm black and beautiful. We must we must be able to cry out with the eloquent poet, fleecy locks and black complexion cannot forfeit nature's claim. Skin may differ, but affection dwells in black and white the same. If I were so tall as to reach the pole of the grass, the ocean and the span, I must be measured by my soul. The mind is the standard of the man. And we must believe this firmly and live by it. Now, the second thing I want to address is this: that we must make full and constructive use of the freedom we already possess. We must not wait for the day of full emancipation before we set out to achieve certain basic developments in our lives. Now, I know the problems here, and I'm not unmindful of the fact that through segregation and discrimination, many of us have been scarred. Many have lost motivation. But I think it is safe to say that there is a host of young people in the Negro community who can brilliantly apply themselves and thereby make full and constructive use of the freedom we already possess. This means that we must set out to achieve excellence in our various fields of endeavor. This means that we've got to study hard, we've got to stay in school. Again, I know the social problems that cause many Negroes to drop out of school. But I urge you today to develop that rugged determination. Stay in school, stick with it to the end. It may be that you will have to work harder than other people, but don't mind that. Go on and do it anyhow. It was Longfellow who said, the heights of great men reached and kept were not attained by sudden flight, but they, while their companions slept, were toiling upward in the night. And I urge you today to realize that doors of opportunities are opening now that were not open to our mothers and our fathers. And the great challenge facing each of you today is to be ready to enter these doors as they open. Ralph Waldo Emerson said on one occasion that if a man can write a better book or preach a better sermon or make a better mousetrap than his neighbor, even if he builds his house in the woods, the world will make a beaten path to his door. That hasn't always been true, but it will be increasingly true. And so set out to do a good job do that job so well that the living, the dead, or the unborn couldn't do it any better. And let me say that we've got to prepare now to compete with people. Many of our parents have been so scarred by years of denial and neglect that they cannot face the same challenges that we face. But I say to you that you have the opportunity to assert certain things. Get ready to compete with people. Don't set out merely to do a good Negro job. If you're setting out one day to be a good Negro doctor, or a good Negro lawyer, a good Negro school teacher, a good Negro preacher, a good Negro skilled laborer, a good Negro barber, or beautician, you have already flunked your matriculation exam for entrance into the University of Integration. Set out to do a good job and do that job so well that nobody can do it any better if it falls to luck to be a street sweeper. Sweep streets like Michelangelo painted pictures. Sweep streets like Shakespeare wrote portraits. Sweep streets like Beethoven composed music. Sweep streets so well that all the hosts of heaven and earth will have to pause and say, here lived a great street sweeper who swept